Hey guys, Gayan here from Liver Health Center in Caroline Springs. Today I'm going to go through a quick and easy mobility plan that's going to require one thing that we're all using a lot of right now, our chair. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to sit right at the back of our chair so we're nice and comfortable. We're going to make sure that we have even weight through both our hips. And then we're going to begin by just doing our stock standard trap stretch for our neck. So we're going to place one hand underneath the back of our thigh, one hand on top of our head, and then what we're going to do is gently bring our ear, my right ear, towards my right shoulder. I'm going to hold there for about 10 to 15 seconds, inhaling, and as I exhale, I'm just going to increase that stretch ever so gently, feeling a nice pull from my ear down to the tip of my shoulder. One more. And then coming back to the center of my spine. I'm going to change sides now, so I'm going to place my right hand under my right thigh, place my right hand on top of my head, and then the same thing. I'm gently going to tilt my left ear towards my left shoulder and feel a nice stretch from the side of my neck. And as I exhale, I'm gently going to increase that stretch. One more. Good. I'm going to come back to the center. So we're going to do that 2 more times each side. And then from there, we're going to change the actual angle of our stretch. So we're going to go again, right side, left hand under the thigh. We're going to turn really gently towards my right shoulder. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rotate my head towards my right armpit. And then from there, I'm going to tuck my chin in and then gently pull my head down towards my right armpit. And what that's going to do is that's going to change the angle of the stretch and start to get a nice pull through the back portion of my neck through here. And it's the same concept. I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm gently going to tilt my head down a little bit further and get a bit of a bigger stretch. Good. I'm going to come back to the center, place my right hand under my right thigh, right hand on top of my left hand on top of my head, and I'm going to gently turn my neck towards the left, tilt my head down towards my left armpit, and now I'm going to gently pull my head down towards my left armpit. Now I'm going to incorporate some breathing. So I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm gently going to pull my head down a little bit further towards my left armpit, feeling that nice stretch at the back of my neck. Good. I'm going to come back to our neutral position. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to start to get some side bending going on through our torso. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to place our hands crossed over, we're going to intertwine our fingers, and now we're going to place them at the base of our head, right underneath the base of our skull. So in the corners of my eye, I can see my elbows, and I'm just gently going to traction my neck up. So that's going to be my starting position. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt my right elbow down towards my right hip and let my torso follow as my right elbow gently rolls down, feeling a stretch along the left side of my body. I'm going to inhale to prepare, and as I exhale, I'm going to gently come back up to the neutral spine. And then we're going to change to the opposite side. And as I go down, I want to make sure I have even weight through both my hips the entire way. Inhale at the top. As you exhale, come down, shortening that right side and lengthening through the left side of your torso. Exhale to come back up. One more time to the left side, tilting the left elbow down towards the left hip bone. Right at the bottom, I'm going to take a big breath in. And then inhale again to prepare. And then as I exhale, I'm gently going to come back up to neutral spine. Good. Just going to shake that off now. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to progress to some spine extension. So it's the same concept with the fingers. We're going to place the fingers crossed over like that again. Place them behind the base of your neck. Gently traction up now, and then what we're going to do is we're going to gently tilt our head back, and we're going to extend through our spine, through the top portion of our spine. So I'm really trying to draw my sternum forward as I extend my spine back. A couple of degrees, and then come back to neutral. And as I do this, I'm also thinking that I'm lengthening my spine up and away. Extending back nice and gently. Keeping both my feet planted the entire time. And then coming back to neutral position. So just to show you from side on. Same thing, I'm going to clasp my hands behind my neck. Elbows in the corners of my eye. Gently tractioning my head up, and then I'm just gently going to extend my upper spine as I draw my sternum forward. It's not a very big movement. Inhale at the end, and as you exhale, come back to that neutral position. So we're going to do that 3 to 4 times. After we've done that, we're going to start to move towards our lower body. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to start to get a nice stretch to the hamstrings. So in order to achieve that, what we're going to do is gently bring our right leg forward, and then we're actually going to bring our torso and our body forward with it. So we want to make sure our knee is slightly hinged, our left foot is at 90 degrees, our left knee is at 90 degrees, our spine and our hips are nice and tall, and then what we're going to do is just gently tilt forward. And then coming back up. So the key to this exercise to get a really nice stretch through the hamstrings is to make sure that our spine is nice and straight, our shoulders are nice and back, and we're not rolling through our mid-back. So we're nice and tall and we're hinging forward. And as we hinge forward, we start to get a nice stretch through the back of our hamstring. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds, and then slowly come back up again. And again, to show you this from side on, I want to sit nice and tall. Want to make sure our leg is forward, so it's straight here. Then we're going to just gently bend it so it's just unhinged, and then back nice and tall, and then we're going to lean forward. And as we lean forward, we get a fantastic stretch to the back of our leg here. If our knee is dead straight, what tends to happen is we tend to get a stretch right at the back of the knee. So we're not really making use of this exercise to get a really nice stretch to the entire muscle. So we want to keep it slightly bent. Our back nice and straight, and we're hinging forward. And then coming back up nice and tall. I want to do this 3 times, both legs. Making sure that we're not forgetting to breathe throughout this movement. And again. Breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and then coming back to that neutral position. This is a fantastic exercise when we are sitting for long periods of time, because our hamstrings tend to get quite tight, and then that tends to lead into our lower back and our glute and hip muscles becoming really tight. And a lot of people do tend to experience a bit of sciatic pain or some aching around the back and hip area, and that can be a big contributor to that. Moving on from that, we're actually going to move into the hip area now. So what we're going to do is a glute stretch. So we're going to make sure that we're sitting back on our chair again, making sure our hips are nice and even, and then we're going to bring one leg over. And we're going to create a figure 4 with our leg. From here, what I'm going to do is with my supporting hand, I'm going to tilt my hand up and lift my leg up with it, and then gently with my right hand, tilt my knee down towards the ground. And as I do that, I start to feel a nice stretch through the back of my hip area here. And again, you want to hold this stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds. Breathing throughout that movement. And rest. I'm going to place this foot down, and I'm going to change sides. I'm just going to lift my left leg up. I'm going to create a figure 4 with my leg. I'm going to place my hand underneath my foot here, I'm going to place my elbow down over my knee, or it can be my hand as well. And then what I'm going to do is gently pull my knee down to the ground as I lift really gently with my foot. And as I do that, it doesn't take much. You will start to feel a nice stretch to the outside portion of your hip. Good. And again, we want to do that 2 to 3 times each leg. From here, we're going to change the angle of our hip. So we're going to hit the same muscle, but we're going to hit a different part of the actual hip, a bit more into that glute area. So similar, we're going to bring one leg across, and we can either go into that figure 4, or we can just let that leg just sit on top of that opposing knee. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hug the right knee that's on top, and we're going to pull it in a diagonal direction towards our opposite shoulder. And as we do that, we start to feel a pull pretty quickly into a higher portion of that back hip glute area. And once we feel that stretch, we want to hold it there, 20 to 30 seconds again. Breathing throughout those 20 to 30 seconds. And relax. We're going to release this leg, and then we're going to change sides. Cross this leg over. Again, we're going to clasp our hands, hug that top knee, and then gently draw that towards our opposite hip, or opposite shoulder. And what you'll find is as you keep breathing, with each breath, you can slowly start to increase the stretch more and more as the fibers start to ease. Good, and then drop. So that's our hips and our lower back area. We're going to start to focus a little bit more on our upper chest and upper back area now. So we're actually going to get off the chair. We're going to change the position of our chair so you can see from side on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into a little bit of a prayer position. So we're going to go onto our knees. We're going to keep our elbows onto the chair, and we can cross our hands over, and then we're going to bring our legs back. And from here, what I'm trying to aim to do is gently draw my sternum down towards the ground, and also drop my body down with it. And as I do that, I start to get a really good stretch through the lats through here, really opening up my chest, my shoulders, allowing me to draw my shoulders backwards. Once we're down at the bottom, I'm going to breathe in, breathe out. As we breathe in, we're going to come back up to neutral. Good. And we're going to go again. So I'm gently going to drop my torso down, let my sternum lead the way. Bring my shoulders back, feel a nice stretch through my lat muscles. And once I'm there, I'm going to take a big breath in. Big breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. I'm going to repeat that 4 times. Now that we're here in this position as well, we're also going to introduce some rotation as well into our torso. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep one hand nice and straight. The opposite hand is going to be underneath the base of our neck. And then what we're going to do is we're going to gently rotate our torso underneath our arm. And then we're going to bring it back up. So imagine your elbow that's down towards the ground is like swinging like a pendulum. We want to do 4 times. Last one. Now I'm going to change sides. So my right hand's going to be nice and straight. My left hand's going to be underneath the base of my neck. Elbow back, and then from here I'm gently going to drop my elbow down and swing to the opposite side. Feeling a nice stretch through my mid and upper back. And as I come back, I'm going to introduce a little bit of extension as well. swinging down. 2, 3. 4. Good. We're now going to stand. Now we're going to just move into some stock standard calf pumps. So we're going to use the chair as a nice support, making sure we have even weight through both our hips, even weight through both our feet as well. And then from here, we're going to just gently rise up, squeezing our calves at the top, and then gently bringing them back down. We want to aim for 10. This is a great exercise to do if you're sitting for long periods of time, just to improve that circulation down to your lower body, to your feet, to your ankles. Just from side on, same position as well, drawing the heels up, squeezing at the top, and then gently bringing your feet down. So ideally, you want to be doing these exercises. This shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. So it's a great way when it's time to just take a break from work, take your eyes off the screen, just to do a couple of these exercises or just run through this quick, short routine, just to maintain some movement through your body. Good. Final one. We're going to, again, face the chair on the side, and then we're going to do some hip circles now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the leg closest to the chair nice and straight, and then I'm going to place one hand on my hip, and then I'm going to bring it straight up to 90 degrees, and then bring it out, and then back down. Straight up, and then out. So your hip is like a ball in a socket joint. It doesn't just go back and forward, doesn't just go side to side. It moves in what we call circumduction. I'm going to aim for 10. Again, a great exercise when we're sitting for long periods of time, because we tend to get a lot of pain through the hip bone, through the sides, through the front, and also in through the back of the hip. So the more looser we can keep this joint, the more mobile we can keep this area, the less likely we're going to experience lower back pain, hip pain, that sciatic referral that a lot of people experience as well. Once you've done 10, you can do another 10 by going the opposite direction. So we're swinging out, back to the front, and then back down. Bringing that hip out, bringing it into the midline, then dropping it straight back down. And rest. So there you go, guys. 10 exercises in about 10 to 15 minutes. Something quick, something easy, something to break up that cycle of having to sit for long periods of time, and hopefully that'll get you through before you start to experience things like neck, shoulder, pain in that lower back, and some tingling pain running down the leg as well. If you have any questions, just give us a call. Liverpool Health Centre, 9363 2961. Thank you.